Hey, what's going on? It's Joey, also known as GHOSTsTALKER on this channel. I'm going to show you some drum techniques that I use on the Roland JDXI for writing songs and also for performing some of my drum parts, that little tricks that I do, I guess, to keep me from menu diving and going through a lot of different options. We'll start off with drums here. I'm on a blank bank, and on the drum voicing here, I'm on the TR-909. And what I usually do is start with a hi-hat. So what you can do, let me clear out some of the stuff. So we'll start off on that hi-hat. That's just a good place for me. I usually do it on the 8th notes and set it to a tempo you want to use. Add in your bass drum, add in, find your snare that you want to use. This is a very standard beat, and now I want to elaborate on it. I want to add variation, some dynamics to it. So what I might do is find another hi-hat that I'm not using, like that one. It sounds a little bit different, and I'll start adding it on the empty notes. And you can use the volume knob to fade those in. So this in itself can save you from having to make a whole nother drum pattern on your favorites or on your pattern options up here, which is super helpful live. I can just fade in new drum parts and fade out old ones. So what I might do is use this as a variation. You might find a crash cymbal and add those. You know, you can take out your snare parts, find a new snare, and add it on a different beat. So now we got this awesome halftime. You can even, so now we're at a hard rock kind of beat. And all that was done just on fading in different parts. And let's say you want to add in a fill with the same, let's see here, we're on this snare. Let's say we want to add a little thing here, but we don't want it to be the same volume. So when I initially selected the snare, I just hit it as hard as I could. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reselect it, but play it a lot softer. So I hit it originally like this, but let me, like that. And we can add in like little ghost notes if we wanted to. I'm going to add in these hi-hats back in. And even with this hi-hat, these 8th notes are just the same. It's just going at the full volume for every one, and it sounds very robotic. So what I'll do is, you know, originally when I hit this hi-hat, I hit it all with full force, and now I'm going to do it a little bit softer. Full force, a little bit softer. So, and I'll replace every other note like that. And then, so this just helps with the velocity of everything to make it a little bit more not so cut and dry. Maybe even add in. So now we started off with a very cut, like very dry beat, and now we've added in just more human nature kind of to it, human feel with these different dynamics to it. And so that snare, that's what I call like hitting it on the 3. We also have a snare that's quiet right now. That's on the 2s and the 4s. So what I might do in a song, if I'm grooving, maybe looping some ideas together, I might fade out that snare and let this ride for a minute. And then bringing back the old one, and this changes it to a standard time instead of the halftime feel. I'm doing all this on just a 4-bar loop, or just a one bar loop, and you can make this as long as 4 bars if you want it to as well. So this is just the concept of it all. This is how I like to approach drums. Another cool thing I like to do too is if I'm ever working with drums and I'm so used to, you know, doing things on the 2s and the 4s and 3s and having hi-hats on the 8th or 16th notes. If I'm trying to like just shake myself up rhythmically, the arpeggio feature is a really cool feature because you can get new timings, I guess, on top of 4/4 that you wouldn't have thought of. I guess I'll just show you. I'll turn the arpeggiator on after I find some sounds I like. So what we'll do is, like, that's a weird percussion. And other drum voices on here have all kinds of weird sounds to them, but let me just... So that's 3 that I like. So alright, so I've selected 3 kind of percussive elements that are just kind of out of the norm for what you hear in a normal drum kit. And you can select, you know, 4 of them, and that arpeggiator is going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, up and down, or just straight through, whatever you have it selected to. The default is ascending order, 1, 2, 3, and whatever your 4th one is. But what's really fun to do to get weird rhythms on top of 4/4 is just select something that isn't 4, maybe 3 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, and use the arpeggiator, turn that on, and just let it go. That might be a little bit much at this tempo, but it works really well at slower tempos. But it's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, for this song, it might be a bit much. Like if we slowed the tempo down, it works a little bit better. And you can lift up your hand or finger to kind of even out the rhythm. Just ideas.